Okay, so I'd like to close every LHON conference with an update on the state of the global LHON community, with a database of over 6,800 individuals, a global Facebook group with over 3,800 individuals, and an email list with over 1,500 people. The LHON community continues to grow. There have been a number of new initiatives that have taken place since the last LHON conference that I'd like to highlight. And I will now remember to move the cursor. The LHON.org website is one of the main ways info about LHON gets shared around the world. It was on an old platform, so Molly and I moved it to a newer platform this year. We cleaned it up, we added content, and we'll be adding the sports info and the assistive technology presentations to it. A lot of people make connections globally in the large Facebook group, but having local relationships and connections are also really helpful because you can find local resources, specific doctors, voc rehab, when you have local connections. As an example, we have state and regional Facebook groups almost everywhere in the US and in many specific countries. If you're not in your local state or in your state group, I encourage you to join it. It helps when we want to have connect people. We recently had an event in Long Island, New York, which Jim Tolbe helped put together, and you're going to give him the microphone. Jim, tell us a little bit about how that went.
Yes, hello everyone. Yeah, actually Lister contacted me, I guess it was about, what was it, 3 or 4 months ago when you were around, and always said that she was going to be in the area at that point, and wanted to get everyone together who was in the New York, New Jersey region, basically, to see if we all wanted to get together for a little get-together. And so I said, okay, that's a good idea. Let me see what kind of local pubs or bars on the Long Island area that might be a good midpoint for everyone to get together. And we had picked out one place called the Trinity Bar, which was actually, I know the guy from high school who owns it. And unfortunately that fell apart because the day we had picked, they had some sort of a wedding service and something going on there. But there was another woman in the group who has never come to these events. Her name is Susan Emmert, and her son has LHON too. And I reached out to her, and she was gracious enough to open up her house. She had this lovely house in Garden City, Long Island. And essentially, it was fantastic. I think we had about a good 25, 30 people who showed up from the New York area. Andy Marks, who's got his little headset on back there, he was there as well. He met me and my wife in Manhattan. And you know, we had a beautiful day. The weather was great. The house was lovely. We had all sorts of cold cuts and foods and beer, and not too much beer. But it was really a wonderful time for everyone to get to know each other, talk about you know, the experiences we've had with LHON, and just working through it. And it was, yeah, one of the great things about this conference and the group itself is we're all part of one family. And I think we're all in it together, as one of the doctors said before. And the more we get involved with it and stick with each other, the more we'll be able to help each other out. And that's what we did during one of these events.
Thanks, Jim. And it was a lot of fun. And even though he makes it sound like it wasn't a lot of work, and it's not. When I ask you to do it, I'll be telling you it's not a lot of work. On the other hand, to make it even easier, we have the opportunity to collaborate with the UMDF, who puts on Energy for Life walkathons, and they're already doing the work. So they're setting up events all around the country, and rather than Jim contacting pubs or finding someone who wants to open up their home, in all of the cities that are on the screen and are on the downloaded PowerPoint, you have the opportunity to create a team LHON where you can have folks come together. And Jennifer Malika has been doing a team LHON in Minnesota for several years now, and has talked about the experience of prior conferences. This year, Molly Knox put one on in New England and is going to tell us briefly about it.
Hi, I participated in my first EFL walk this past May. It really was a wonderful experience. It was very easy to set up and promote via the wonderful Facebook groups that we have. A coordinator from the UMDF handled all of the details, so it was as easy as setting up a page and recruiting folks to come for the walk and doing a little bit of fundraising as well. There was a group of 7 of us, and I really enjoyed making some new friends, deepening connections with individuals who came who I already knew, and we started to build some links with the broader Mino community as well, which was a really great step. And if anybody is looking to set up EFL walk teams in their area, please feel free to contact me. I have instructions on how to do so, and I would be more than happy to assist you. It was a great experience, and I highly recommend it to anybody who might be interested in participating.
As she said, here's the tip sheet she created. She's more than happy to send it to you if you want to set up a team LHON in your area. In addition, hopefully some of you have met your regional coordinators. The UMDF has regional coordinators throughout the country, and they do help in these events, or maybe do it all, I'm not quite sure. One other way that the LHON community connects is the monthly call that takes place the first Wednesday of every month. It's open to anyone in the LHON community. It's recorded and placed on the LHON page of the UMDF site. We also welcome topic-specific calls and Facebook groups whenever someone's interested and is willing to coordinate it with me. In the past, Lisa Thompson proposed an LHON Plus call and Facebook group. Jennifer Malika proposed a Navigating Education with LHON call and Facebook group. This year, Tony Wright had an idea. Tony and Jim, could you tell us a little bit about your idea?
Here's our idea. Well, we had an idea for a monthly dad's call. Not that mothers don't have agonies about things related to their kids, but we all also, by the way, think our kids are amazing at whatever age they are. And so we've been doing this call for what, 4 or 5 months, Listen, I guess. Sometimes we get 3 or 4 people, sometimes we get 1 person. The purpose of it is simply, and in particular for a dad who maybe is just new. It doesn't have to be for that, you know, is just trying to find some way to talk to somebody. We're not psychologists, right? But if there's a way that we can help anybody, we want to do that. So we do it typically the 3rd Wednesday at 8 o'clock at night Eastern. The next one is July 18th. If any of you, and I know a few of you in the audience have been on the calls, if any of you are interested and just want to talk about anything, it can be about technologies, it can be about you and what you're experiencing, because sometimes I think people think that maybe they're the only person that experiences something, and we all do. We all experience trials, and so that's what we do, and there you go.
Yeah, I'd just like to add, you know, when it happened to my son, it was devastating to me. But I think, you know, not to sound sexist or anything, but I think men approach things a little bit differently than women. I think we have a tendency more to hold things in and not let it out. And sometimes it's easier for a man to talk to another man about how he's dealing with this kind of situation. And that's one of the primary reasons why we thought this group would be good. If you're a grandfather, a dad, your son or daughter has just come down with this kind of thing, and you're struggling with it, and you want to talk to somebody without emoting, or if you feel, you know, uncomfortable doing that, this group might be for you. Okay? And that's why we sent it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Last year, I announced we'd received a grant to develop an LHON support project. Molly spearheaded that project for us, and she developed a unique website with information about how to help someone to navigate the challenges of LHON that could be used by people who provide support to others in the LHON community. Many of you have already been doing that with me on an informal basis, providing support and making contact with others in the LHON community. The goal of this initiative is to identify certain individuals as LHON navigators, and to provide a framework for these navigators to use as they assist someone who joins the LHON community with information readily accessible and available to navigators about where and how to provide that support. Much of that important support comes from connecting with others in the community with shared experiences. One aspect of this project is to develop a registry of people willing to share their experiences with whom navigators can make connections. So this year you may hear from Molly and me, or you can volunteer to recruit and train as a volunteer or as a resource or as a navigator. And if that interests you, please contact Molly or me. If you attended last year's conference, you heard Mark DeMontis and Lisa Thompson describe their plans to form a new group in Canada. To update us on all that's happened since then, please welcome the chairman of the board of directors of the very new LHON Canada group, Kevin Bowen.
Hi everyone. So since last year, we've made tremendous progress towards setting up this organization in Canada, and since then we've actually been able to get national nonprofit status. So that was one of the first steps in sort of building this community in Canada, which is our our primary objective at this point. We estimate there's about 700 to 1,000 affected individuals in Canada, and the challenge is to sort of uncover all these people and find them. We've got about 140 people in the LHON Canada Facebook group, and our goal is to vastly increase that number over the next several years. So as part of that initiative, the main sort of thing we're doing this year is a symposium in Ottawa on September 16th. And that of course is open to any non-Canadians who would like to attend. It's a Sunday, it's a one-day conference. Of course Ottawa is a beautiful city for those of you who haven't been. And if you'd be interested in attending, come speak to me. So that's sort of gonna serve as the launching pad for our organization, which sort of secondarily, some of our objectives are to establish a peer support network, help those who are affected and their families in Canada to travel to Ottawa to see Dr. Karanja, who works at the Ottawa Hospital Eye Institute, as well as advocate for LHON, visual impairment, and disability in Canada. So that's going to be sort of our mandate, as well as pushing people towards Dr. Karanja, and in addition to that, wherever we can, fund some of his research at the Eye Institute in Ottawa. So as another sort of startup to the organization, we started a GoFundMe campaign called the $20.20 for 2020 Vision Campaign. So thus far, we are at about $12,000 raised. That's mostly through my friends and family thus far. So I would ask you, if you're interested in helping us out in that respect, to check out our GoFundMe page. So that requires you to go to GoFundMe.com and search LHON Canada there. And what you'll notice on that page is there's a video of Mark DeMontis, who some of you know is affected and was at the conference last year, has done some pretty incredible things, including rollerblading across Canada to raise money for blind hockey. And actually more recently ran in the Ontario provincial election. So very interesting guy, very involved with our organization, and an incredible spokesperson. Just some brief highlights on the actual symposium. So Dr. Sadoun will be there along with Dr. Karanja. There's the intention is to have sort of a doctor's panel, with a Q&A obviously, and we've got a Canadian Paralympian by the name of Jason Dunkerley who will attend, and then of course several other sessions sort of focusing on assistive tech, clinical trials, sort of globally and hopefully in Canada, as well as topics such as employment for those with visual impairment. So we're very excited about that, and again, come speak to me if you have any interest in joining us.
Thanks so much, Kevin. I am so impressed by what you've done, and I'm looking forward to attending your conference and getting to know even more the Canadian LHON community and watching the community grow and develop. As you saw today, the connection between our community with researchers, biotech, pharma, and clinical trials is obviously important to the process of moving forward. And recently you heard that GenSite had a key opinion leaders breakfast, and I had the opportunity to speak about what the patient burden is, as they like to call it, of having somebody affected by LHON, to make it real for the investors who are providing the funds to make the trial happen, which is also important. Santhera wanted to help the community understand the LHON trial that was described earlier, so they conducted a webinar in conjunction with UMDF with us, and that's posted on the LHON page of the UMDF site for anyone who wants to learn more about the LHON trial. And as you saw by this morning's presentation, this is a really exciting time for clinical trials, and many of you are involved. And I just wanted to ask one person who has been involved in a clinical trial. Julie, could you share a little bit about your experience with clinical trials?
Hi there. Excuse me, I've had a sore throat for 4 days. I'm not finished smoking, I promise. I just ended a trial with Dr. Guy. I'm sure some of you know who he is, in Pharma. I was diagnosed 4 years ago, and it took about, I guess, 5 months of 4 neuro-ophthalmologists telling me to get a dog and a cane, and sorry, we can't help you. And I'm sort of a resilient ex-car dealer, and I'm sorry I haven't been around on Facebook. I just wrapped up selling my car dealership because it was just the stress of the family. It was just too much. So I will promise to be on Facebook now and be more vocal. But at the end of the day, I got to meet Lisa and Maria and so many people. I'm a little bit nervous. I get confused, but they had me speak with Sadoun after I spoke with Dr. Guy for the first time, because I was concerned about, signing my life away. If we inject you, you could die, and then we take all your organs and all this stuff that kind of, happens. It's reality. So Dr. Sadoun told me to pretty much run and don't walk back to Dr. Guy. You're trying because you're under 1 year diagnosed, you're acute. And as much as I would have wanted to wait for Sadoun because he was so charming, Dr. Guy is like the mad scientist, Freud. It's crazy. But we connected because I know how to roll with people, because I'm a car dealer. And but I'm a woman, I'm a good car dealer, so I still have connections. If anybody needs cars, I can ship them all over. So 3 years down the road, my last appointment was last May 1st. A year ago, he came down to one of my appointments, Dr. Guy, when I was in my 9-hour days of testing. I'm sure we all know what that is. And said, I called the New Jersey Division of Motor Vehicle. You're now legal to drive. And I was like, what? I've been driving already. But I wasn't driving legally, and it wasn't good. I just went to the store to get garlic for pasta. So here I was, the last appointment, last May 1st, and I improved more, and I'm at 20/40 in my right and 20/80 in my left, and a lot of cell regeneration, 200 points. That was the only time that even happened, last appointment. So there's so much hope for all of us. And get on Facebook, and anybody can contact you. I'll put my email, because I'm sure everybody has a lot of questions. But I'm the first guinea pig, and my doctor in New York said, don't ever call yourself that. You're giving hope to everyone. And I wanted to be so involved with you guys the past 3 years. But I have a crazy 87-year-old father and brother that are both 15 years old mentally that I have to take care of as well. So my plate's been a little full, but now I'm open. Thanks.
The final thing I want to say about the LHON community is that how it evolves really depends upon the energy, ideas, and interests various people bring to the table. I'm truly open to anything, and I'm very happy to support any ideas anyone wants to pursue. So whether it's helping to create connections via an EFL or an ad hoc local gathering, offering support to others as a navigator or a resource, or identifying a need and working to create a solution, all assistance is needed and welcome as we collectively develop the LHON community. Molly, could you tell us a bit about your experience?
Sure. So I attended my first conference last year in DC with my family, and I really enjoyed all of the aspects of that conference. And I was at a point in my life where I thought I really need some kind of rewarding and meaningful volunteer work to get in, and this really seemed like the prime opportunity for me. And so I had seen Lissa had a similar slide in her presentation last year. She was looking for volunteers, so I approached her at the end of the conference, and we met up a few months later in Boston, and we discussed the LHON community as a whole, and we talked about things I was interested in and ways that I could help and how my abilities could best fit in a volunteer capacity. And the last year, as Alyssa mentioned, I've assisted in the development of an online support tool. I've helped with clinical trial recruitment, and of course, have been involved in conference preparation. And I've gotten to know many of you through the Facebook groups, or done phone calls with you, and I've met a few LHON folks in New England and Boston, and it's just been a wonderful experience. But the best part is really that it never feels like a burden, or it never feels like work. It really is very exciting and rewarding, and the people are really what makes it special and really worthwhile. So I very much encourage you, if you have an interest and you have the time to get involved in a volunteer capacity, I really encourage you to do so. And please let us know if you're interested.
So now that the 2018 LHON conference is over, it's time to start thinking about the 2019 conference. We'll be at the same hotel as last year, the Hilton Mark Center in Alexandria, Virginia, just outside Washington, D.C. We'll meet all day on Friday, June 28th, with a networking meet and greet Thursday evening. Hopefully a large part of the group will also be able to be a part of the UMDF's Day on the Hill activities on Thursday, June 27th, where we seek support from Congress for funding for mitochondrial disease research. And everyone will be welcome to register for the full UMDF Family Symposium, which will continue on through Saturday, June 29, and includes the UMDF banquet on Friday night. So please mark your calendars and plan to join us in DC in June 2019.